Hello, thank you for once again tuning in to my podcast here at Brandy Lloyd Personal Training and Holistic Health. I'm really excited to talk about this next topic today. It's basically on stubborn fat. I get asked time and time again about just some quick tips about, how can I just lose 5 pounds for this event? Or how about 20 pounds for that event? Or my doctor told me that I need to lose weight, or I'm going to have to be on diabetes medication, or I need to get my cholesterol down, or I have high blood pressure. And I got to tell you, all of that seems like such an uphill battle and is definitely frightening, I'm sure, when you're getting this information from your doctor. But let me back up 1 second and just remind you that the advice that I give here on my podcast is lifestyle changes and not medical advice. I'm not your doctor. So make sure before you make any drastic changes, especially when it comes to medication, that you talk to your doctor about it. So moving forward, stubborn fat, can you change it? High blood pressure, can you get it down without taking something, medication? What about your cholesterol? Do you have to be on cholesterol medication, or are these things that you can do yourself and not have to worry about the impending side effects and have to have another pill or procedure for your side effects, or the damage that your side effects will eventually cause, or the medication itself will eventually cause? Another thing I want to talk about today is it magical or is it marketing? Of course, my students, as they come in, if I don't already have heard about it, I know I will soon from one of them, because they have been empowered with education, and it gives them a good discerning eye when it comes to fads and diets and products. And just this morning, one of my clients came in today asking me if I have heard about this magical pill. It is the answer to basically all of our health woes, whether it is fat loss or hormone issues or disease, whatever. We now have the pill. I'm suspect. That does sound more magical. It does sound more like marketing, and it doesn't sound even like, I'm so suspicious. I don't know, the old snake oil, kind of a mentality, like, what's this person trying to sell me? And that is a really great place to start when you hear about something like this, is who am I hearing it from? What is the source? Do they have anything to gain from me by me participating in this? Like this, for example, is a free podcast. And what I'm really just hoping to do is empower you, the listener, and I want you to change your life. I want to be a part of that. I really do fully believe that food can heal us, that food has been not only what keeps us going as far as our fuel, but since the beginning of man, it has also been medicinal. And in that aspect, I think with the industrial revolution and the modernization, the different crops that we grow now in a mass way, and our processed foods, I can feel like I can say that food also kills. Food heals, and food also kills. And that's what I want to talk about today, is it may not be your fault. Please don't grab the magic pill. It's not going to be what you think it is. We have seen a lot of magic pills come down the pike over the years in the form of drops, like the HCG drops, for example. I am still shocked every time I hear that somebody is still participating in that. We've even seen surgical magical pills where people are going and getting most of their stomach like clamped off, stapled off, removed, bypassed, different things. Now, I do believe that there is a time when somebody is super morbidly obese. We actually now have that term. And they need drastic intervention or they will die. But I have known people that simply need to lose, 100 pounds, 50 pounds, that have really undergone some very frightening surgical procedures. And then, of course, there's always that time where you need to go back in and maybe get a certain appliance or something taken out. And from what I have actually seen, experienced, observed, is that they might lose weight for a little bit, more starvation, might lose weight for a little bit, but without the education, it just comes right back, and it usually comes right back with a vengeance. And that is the other side of the marketing that nobody really talks about. They may be giving you something like, say, are you old enough? I'm 46, almost 47, Fin. That was like a big deal on the market. People were doing that, and they were losing 30, 40, 50 pounds in 1 month. You have to continue taking Fin. And of course, even that first dose, that first month or 90 days, there's class action lawsuits still with some of these magic pills. So that being said, part of it's not your fault. If you choose to take what looks like a magic pill and you follow just a marketing trail, that is your fault. Chances are, if you are listening to this podcast, you are a health-minded person. You're a health-minded person, and more than likely you're intelligent, and you are looking to be empowered and educated and make lifestyle changes. So taking a quickie pill, trying to reverse things that you've done over the last 20, 30, 40 years, you and I both know that that's just marketing, and they are trying to lure in people that are just overwhelmed and desperate and want the quick, convenient, I just pop a pill in and everything is better kind of consumer. And between you and me, there's a lot of those. Just look at fast food restaurants. I just want to eat something really, really quick. I literally have never met a person that was literally shocked or unaware that their fast food experience was unhealthy. They know, just whatever, just this one time. It tastes good. I love it. It tastes good. It's like the whole In-N-Out burger thing, where we don't have one near us. They're about an hour and a half away from where I live. And it is not uncommon when people, quote, leave our mountain, we live in the mountains, that as soon as they hit that valley floor, they're so excited to stop at In-N-Out burger. And I'm just always amazed. So let's talk about how there's some areas that maybe not your fault, right? You're not out there depleting the soil of its nutrients because you are over farming a certain area. You're not out there with your GMO seeds and spraying the pesticides all over everything. You're not creating processed foods disguised as healthy foods. As a matter of fact, you're just the opposite of all of that. More than likely, you're somebody that has really checked out the food pyramid over the years in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and now in the 2000s. I know I was low fat, low cal. We've also seen low carb as of recently, as far as in the media kind of thing, things like with keto and primal and paleo. There's also high carb for athletes. I've always been an athlete, so carbing up or refeeding carbs is always a part of my life. And just all of the healthy, quote, air quote, healthy products that are on the marketing. They even would choose more green on their label because green psychologically says to us that must be healthy. And I remember feeding my kids the quote unquote healthy granola bars. We did a lot of that, switching to whole grains pastas and whole grain bagels for our household, and really thinking that we were doing the right things, cutting back on the red meat, or I didn't even like it at all. So you know how it goes in most households when mom doesn't like something. If I'm doing the primary cooking and shopping, I'm just not going to make it. We also switched to things like Smart Beet, Smart Balance, margarine, started using things like canola oil and steering away from just the fat. And I know I'm not alone in thinking that I was just doing what I was taught and what I was told, and all the talks about diabetes and heart disease and strokes and cancers. And unfortunately now, since the big food and big pharma and the pharma and the industrial revolution and and the food revolution and how we are now treating our animals that we eat, from the chickens to the pigs to the eggs and the cows and the hormones and antibiotics. All of this stuff was just cascading or snowballing into a nice platform for creating a society that is obese, a society that is sick, a society that has diabetes and high heart disease and high dementia, and children being born with disabilities. And now we have like this whole spectrum and all of the autistic kids. And I still look around and go, wow, I don't even know if we had any autistic children in the 70s when I went to school and the 80s. And now I don't know what the statistics are, but it's something scary, like 1 in 3 or 1 in 5. I can't remember. So don't quote me on that. So some of this stuff has not been our fault. I don't remember when I was a teenager or in my 20s or my 30s really turning over and looking at the labeling. I'm sure some of you remember how labeling, it's not old. We haven't always had this turn it around and tell me what's in here and the percentages and how that measures up against how the government is suggesting that we're eating, what's our recommended daily allowance for this, that, and the other, and actually listing the ingredients. This is a relatively new procedure. We didn't have to have this procedure before we mechanized and engineered our foods. Food was just food. It was just food. An apple was an apple. If you did buy something pre-made, like say applesauce, it was in a jar and it just had applesauce in it. Maybe a little bit of lemon or something to, kind of keep the color. But we have created Frankenfoods. I know that I talk about this stuff a lot, and I'm just hoping that the more you hear it, the more you will understand it and believe it and live it and share it. Stay away from those Frankenfoods. Part of this industry, and I'm not just talking about the money and the jobs created and all that kind of stuff, there was invention of engineered foods like high fructose corn syrup and hydrogenated oils and different chemical preservatives and artificial preservatives. I said that one right. Oh, and colors and other crazy sweeteners, sucrose, dextrose, maltose, anything with that OSE is just frightening. And I remember around 10 years ago, was it 10 or 15 years ago, talking to my clients, clean eating and whole food eating has always been something that has driven my nutrition coaching, is getting people to get away from a lot of the Frankenfoods, simply making that shift. Boy, talk about a snowball or ripple effect or cascade or domino effect that is good. And watching a lot of different things in their health change. Sleep is better, rest is better, moods are better, hormones are better. They lose the stubborn fat. Anxiety and depression, there's so many things that happen if you can just get off of the Frankenfoods and stay away from the marketing. There is no magic pill. And reprioritizing your thinking a little bit and saying, life is not about convenience. And food isn't good or bad. You're not bad if you go to a drive-thru. Did you make a good choice? No, you absolutely did not typically make a good choice. But the shame and the anxiety and the depression and the highs and lows of dieting adds to the already stressful life that we are living. Even though we've done some things through the evolution of just being people on the planet, we labor way less. I'm definitely not outside washing clothes, trying to do that. If just for the washing machine alone, or my dishwasher, or the vacuum cleaner, our cars, our telephones, we labor way less. We sit way more than we ever had as people. We don't go outside as much. Outside nature is so healing for us human beings. Most of you know that I'm back in school once again, working on the final leg of getting my holistic therapy practitioner credential. And I'm outside studying most of the time. I have an area set up where I have some sun, some shade. I can walk around, but I need the fresh air to keep my mind going.